Just about everything we do in the Boeing Innovation Center, most people believe it's impossible or impractical. There's always reasons of why not, and a lot of those times those are based on widely held beliefs and paradigms, and our job is to shatter those and focus on the physics and make things practical. We didn't know how we were going to try to reduce the aerodynamic drag on the 787-9. We just had to. The first time we tried, we failed. That's okay, right? We want to try. We don't want to be scared to try something and fail. We needed another step function change to get the performance that we had promised our customers, and we've solved that problem by focusing on the physics. It's not always about technology. It's about looking at it a slightly different way. And often you have to change the logic diagram to come up with an innovative and creative solution. And by leveraging multiple disciplines, and we bring the best and the brightest to solve these complex problems tailored towards commercial aircraft. The number of breakthroughs that we've had in 787 is really kind of remarkable. The 787-8 being the first generation composite airplane, and on top of that, we're delivering the 787-9 right on its heels, the second generation composite airplane in terms of structural efficiency, aerodynamic improvements, and we're introducing new aerodynamic technologies that have been deemed impractical for the last 30 years. You really want to make a difference in the world. And so I wanted to do that. I wanted to develop products that had a global reach and a global impact. And I'm doing it now. Great place to be.
Slightly larger than its sibling, the 787-8. The lengthened fuselage allows airlines to carry about 40 additional passengers, so depending on the mission. It can carry 250 to 290 passengers. This airplane also has additional range. Depending on the mission, it can fly 8,000 to 8,500 nautical miles. And all of this airplane can do by using 20% less fuel. So 20% better fuel performance, 20% better environmental performance. And that is why we see great airlines from around the world who have ordered this airplane. In that respect, a special kia ora to our friends down in Air New Zealand, who are the launch customer for the 787-9. They will be the first to fly the -9, but not the only ones. Other great airlines just within 10 minutes or so. While we wait, joining me live is Mark Jenks, who is the Vice President of 787 Development. Mark, you've seen this airplane through and through. I tried to explain what's so special about it, but you know much better. Tell me about the 787-9.
Yeah, well, really it's about performance, first and foremost, and the 787-9 is just an amazingly efficient machine. Now, this is not a simple stretch. We put a lot of technology in the airplane, a lot of aerodynamic technology, our hybrid laminar flow control system, a whole suite of weight reduction technologies. So it is just an amazingly efficient machine, and frankly, something our competitor Airbus just isn't going to be able to touch.
And as the airplane makes its way down towards the south end of the runway, it is passing the thousands of Boeing employees on your team who helped design, build, and deliver this airplane. It must be a special day for you and them.
Oh yeah, it is. This goes back over 4 years. 4 years ago, we were trying to design this airplane. We had about 10,000 pounds of weight to take out. The team did it, and it's just been an amazingly smooth development process.
Well, Mark, congratulations on getting to this special milestone. We'll let you get into the viewing area and watch takeoff. As we get our next guest, I should also mention a special shout out to our colleagues down in North Charleston, South Carolina. They had a big role in getting to this day, so we want to recognize them. We're glad you're watching on this webcast. And also a special hello to all of our supplier partners around the world who help deliver the Dreamliner. And the airplane's actually passing us right now. And joining me is Scott Fancher, who is the Vice President and General Manager of the Airplane Development Organization. Some of you might recognize him because he was the leader of the 787-8 when it took its first flight almost 4 years ago now, Scott. How does the 787-9 fit into Boeing's product strategy for commercial airplanes?
Well, first, is that a beautiful airplane or what?
It's tremendous.
It's going to be a really exciting event for us, and the Dash 9 is absolutely critical to our strategy going forward. Between the Dash 8, the Dash 9, and the Dash 10 that we launched this summer at the air show in Paris, we've got a great lineup for that mid-size, wide-body marketplace. And we're going to follow that up with the 777X and completely reposition our wide-body product offering in the marketplace. We're really excited about this airplane and what it means to the overall strategy.
Scott, you know better than most how long of a process it takes to bring a brand new airplane, especially one as revolutionary as the Dreamliner, to market. Tell me about the disciplined process that you and your team take to get to this day.
Well, you know, in the middle of trying to certify the 787-8, we put in place an entirely new management system around airplane development, expanded disciplines around risk management, margin management, and the daily routine it takes to execute on track. 787-9 team implemented that same management system, and wow, what results. The airplane loaded in the factory on the day we scheduled over 2.5 years ago. The airplane's lighter than we predicted it would be, and in fact, engineering was released 2 to 4 weeks ahead of schedule. It's a great comeback by the team.
Hey, Scott, thank you very much. Congratulations to your team on the hard work getting to the day.
Great, let's go watch a great airplane fly.
Many of you may remember Captain Neville was in the flight deck for the first flight of the 787-8 back in December 2009. He's back in the flight deck today. He's the chief project pilot for the 787 program. Both of them have flown the Dreamliner around the world, both at air shows in Paris, at Farnborough, and also during the Dream Tour. They have seen this airplane through quite long distances. As the airplane makes the turn and heads north, the pilots will wait and get clearance from the FAA before it can take off. And there you see members of the media, special guests, many of our partners and employees, thousands of them here at Payne Field who have gathered to watch this special occasion. I should mention to you on this website on Boeing.com and newairplane.com, you can find that we've partnered with Google Earth and FlightAware to get you a special 787-9 flight tracker. So you'll be able to follow ZB001, that's the designation for this airplane. You can watch this airplane take off, basically fly around, for the most part, Washington State. The pilots will, with this flight, kick off the flight test campaign. They will methodically expand the envelope of this airplane, checking through systems such as flaps, recycling the landing gear, and other major systems. It will be up to their call as to how this flight will unfold, and of course you guys can all follow it on the flight tracker. After takeoff here, we will sort of decamp and make our way down south, about 30-40 minutes south of here in Seattle, where we will await the 787-9 to land after about a 4 or 5 hour flight.
Edition 1 Bravo Bravo Roger runway 16 right, clear to land wind up.
You might be able to hear some of the helicopters flying overhead. Those are the local news stations. We've got, I count about 4 of them just circling Payne Field here, waiting like the rest of us for the airplane to take off. We've got several cameras, as you've seen. We've cycled through here on this webcast shot, several shots of the airplane, and we'll have 4 or 5 angles for folks to be able to see the best vantage point. Okay. We have, I'm told, someone just handed me, about 30,000 viewers online for this webcast, so we're so glad that all of you have tuned in here. Okay. And again, we're sitting here tracking the 787-9 tip to tail, just over 200 feet, 60 meters, just sporting a great paint job. Now, for many of these first flights, while we will see the airplane go up into the air, in essence, many of these airplanes have already, quote-unquote, flown the first flight. That's because days leading up to the actual flight, the pilots are in the flight deck, and they will go through what's called gauntlet testing. And what gauntlet testing is it is, in essence, a full flight. The pilots will hook up to the airplane a simulator that will tell the airplane that it is flying. And so the pilots will actually go through the entire flight profile, and they will literally do a dress rehearsal. I was in the flight deck for the 747-8 Intercontinental where they did this, and the pilots are very disciplined. They literally treat it as if it's a real flight, and they go through each step, each test condition. And so that when they do that, when they get to this day, it's a bit anticlimactic for them in some ways. But not to underscore how excited they are. Actually, about earlier this morning, I was able to say hi to Captain Neville and Captain Brian. They were in great spirits, very excited for this first flight milestone. An honor for them as well to be able to be in the flight deck for this. It doesn't happen very often that you get a first flight of a new airplane model. Now, I'm told that we're pretty much set to go. We're just now waiting for the chased airplanes, again, two T-33s, again, piloted by Boeing test pilots, who will be arriving, I'm guessing from the south, who will then lead off this first flight. They will basically pace the 787-9, fly ahead of it, and then be able to watch its every move and be able to be in constant communication with the 787 pilots and let them know from the exterior what it's looking like. If there are any abnormalities from the outside that they can't see from the inside. Again, in the flight deck this morning, Captains Randy Neville and Captains Mike Bryan. Together, thousands of hours in both the simulator and in the flight deck. For them, while a special occasion will be, in many ways, just another 787 flight. And there you see the tower. We're capturing some of the air control traffic from the tower, so you can listen in on the behind-the-scenes operations here as we wait for the first flight. Now, once the airplane takes off, it is taking off to the north here on runway 34 left. Now, the reason why the airplane will take off to the north is that for many of these first flights and test flights, north of Payne Field is less inhabited, fewer homes, fewer people, and so you just lessen the risk in case of anything happening. And so the airplane will take off to the north, basically then take a left turn and head out towards the water. Seattle is not too far from the Pacific coast, of course, and the airplane will be able to basically do some of the test maneuvers around the west side of Washington State. If all goes well, according to the flight plan that I saw, the airplane will then head back east and head east of Seattle, again, doing some more test procedures according to what the pilots see as being fit, and also what the flight test team down in Seattle, as they monitor this airplane in real time. You know, one of the interesting things about the 787 with its electric architecture and its systems is that it can pretty much monitor itself. It can monitor its performance and also send back in real time measures of the airplane's performance, thousands of channels of performance. And it can send that back to the mission control style flight test operations center. Our engineers there, some of the best in the world, they've been flight testing airplanes pretty much continuously for the last 4 years. The 787-8, 747-8 Freighter, 747-8 Intercontinental. So they've been through this. This flight actually should be fairly simple for them. They've just done thousands of hours testing. Great work by them in getting the airplanes tested and certified. And they've got more work ahead of them. This first flight pretty much just kicks off the entire flight test campaign. After this, there'll be months more of testing where the flight test team and the pilots will be putting the airplane through its paces, methodically, step by step, expanding the envelope of the airplane until they do some more difficult procedures, but none of which the airplane can handle, of course. That's actually a great shot of some of the photographers who are here, both Boeing and also members of the media. We're glad to be joined by media from around the world who have come in to document this great chapter in aviation history. And again, something like this doesn't happen every day, every month, every year. In fact, it takes so many years and so much resources, to put a new airplane into a position to take a first flight. And so that's why so many of us are gathered. 787-9 in motion once again, ready for its big day. Again, a big day here at Boeing, ready for the first flight of the 787-9 Dreamliner.
Do you have a helicopter on the west side, or is it clear entirely on the west side? Actually, it is clear on the west side of both helicopters in between the parallels. Okay, copy all. Both airplanes will maintain west of the field for the pickup.
Yeah, and as the airplane makes the turn and gets ready to take off, I'm going to be quiet here and let you take in this special milestone.
Victor being Roger, you're on the southeast side. 5 Victor Roger, sorry about that. Going contact tower 120.2. Boeing 001 Heavy, contact Seattle departure. You have a good flight.
Winter departure, thank you much, Tower Boeing 001 Heavy.
Beautiful takeoff. There, as you see again, the 787-9 taking a turn to the left, heading out west, preceded by 2 chase airplanes. I forgot to mention one of our most important pieces of the 787 are the engines there, a big piece of the fuel efficiency that we're getting with the 787. There you see the Rolls-Royce Trent 1000 engines. Airline customers will also have the option of picking the General Electric GE NX engines.